In my old life, I used to design product for a company, and I designed equipment. And then the company needed to have automotive that supplies automotive parts. The company needed to have be part of an automotive organization. It has to meet automotive requirement, and for that it has to have APQP in place. It has to meet a rigorous quality in order to be part of as an automotive supplier to automotive companies. So you have in it failure mode, effect analysis, measurement, system, statistical, PPAP, production part approval process. That took a while, the PPAP, when we were designing product. Of course, when you're designing a product, you have to look at the customer, voice of the customer. Who is the customer? Who are the customer? And I thought about that, and it's the farmers. Why implement manufacturing rice? It is growing rice, but I'm switching mentally from growing rice thought idea to manufacturing rice. Nations have been growing rice for thousands of years. So I really don't want to start from new product introduction and PI support, that sort of thing. It's already been growing for thousands of years. And I don't want to implement process, failure mode effect analysis, that sort of thing. Like when I was implementing APQP for new product design, we had to have pre-planning, plan and define product design and development. In this product design and development, you have the FMEA, design failure mode and effect. And then we did a lot of design verification plan and report. It's a lot of work. And then, of course, when you're going into production, process, failure mode effect analysis, you have MSA, you have process capability studies, and then 8 disciplines of problem solving. So I did a lot of these. 8D we call it for short. When you're looking at these, you're looking at voice of customer, market research, historical issues, team experience, business planning. These has to be all done when you're designing a product. So we did it, and it's a lot of work. It's not hours, it's days and months or weeks and months. And then you have to have a Gantt charts to look at your time plan or time sheets. APQP, like I mentioned, it's really a long time undertaking. But once you have it in place, a company should be able to product design and produce within 18 months. We try to do our best to do that. 18 months is a long time. I mean, it's less than 2 years. But once you have this APQP in place, you could design a product and out the door, hopefully within a year, if you have it in place. And it's just cookie cutter type. The thought then that I have is manufacturing rice thousands of years. There's already process in place. I thought, okay, we'll treat it as an existing product. And so my approach then is simply go back to using failure mode effect analysis. Now within failure mode, there will be 8Ds. I'm not doing design, nor am I doing process. Those already exist. Manufacturing of rice existed for thousands of years. And so is the process. So I don't have to look at the process failure mode and effect analysis. So then my approach toward growing rice would be toward FMEA, failure mode effect analysis. That's basically where I'm thinking of going with it. Now when you're looking at APQP, so throwing failure mode and effect analysis to manufacturing rice, historically the APQP started in the 40s, World War II. When we look at failure modes and throwing it at manufacturing rice, for example, you plan to harvest 8 tons per hectare, or 8 tons, or some tonnage per hectare. For example, throwing failure modes at manufacturing rice, you're expecting several tons per hectare, and you're only getting like less than your expectation. And you throw the failure mode and say, okay, what went wrong? What are the failures that affects the customer, i.e. the farmer? And the effect analysis is studying the consequences of those failures. For example, in manufacturing rice, there's no water. The consequence of those failures is you may not have crops, or there's very little manufactured rice. It's important then to do a analysis of the failure mode and then understand what to do next How can a farmer prevent failure modes? Looking at what's been happening the past 3 years in manufacturing rice, I saw a lot of failure mode. The biggest, of course, is weather. How do you account for weather? Lots of rain, no rain, drought. How do you account for that? And then the fertilizer. All of a sudden, the fertilizer cost goes up, and there's very little funding left to buy the high cost fertilizer. And then typhoon hits, earthquakes. Those kind of factors that you could plan into mitigating failure modes. Not all failure modes can be dealt with. What to do then? It's important to understand the failure modes and the mitigation plan. It really is. And in analyzing failure modes, there is a procedure. It's actually a team. I don't have a team. However, the people watching this YouTube and they in the viewers as well, maybe I can add something to this by commenting. Really, a team, a functional team, cross-functional, is important to failure modes. And in failure modes, you need somebody that has a lot of opinions, what you call devil advocate. It's necessarily not considered a negative aspect of a team. Somebody has to say, well, you're wrong. We need to do this. We need to do that. I don't agree. And that's really important. Failure mode is a functional team, a lot of opinions, and those needs to be documented. So when you're doing a failure mode, it's really important to document. So you have function. Here is where the farmers look at the function, the potential failure mode, the potential effect of failure mode, potential cause of failure mode, current process control, and then I believe this is a degree. 10 is the highest. For example, in this example, dispense amount of cash requested by customer. And the potential cause of failure is power failure during transaction. There is none. The degree is 10. That's the highest. So the customer need cash and the machine is not dispensing. So what is the recommended actions here? And the team or a member of a team is responsible, and then test it. And then action taken. Now I can't remember all of this now. It's been 4 years. So in fact, doing this will take a while for me to get back into the groove. There's a lot of instruction how to deal with failure modes. So I'll go back and read the failure mode process again. How do we throw this at manufacturing of rice is what I'm looking at. And by having an action plan, I hope to increase the amount of rice being harvested.